Pull into any roofing company parking lot this time of year and it's right there. Fully loaded F-150 King Ranch, black, heated seats, panoramic roof, 22-inch wheels. $72,000 on the sticker and it looks exactly like success from the outside. Every rep who walks past it has the same conversation in his head. The one that starts with, I closed enough deals to justify that payment, and it moves straight into, it's basically a write-off anyway. I get it. I've been in that same parking lot. I've watched guys run that conversation and sign the paperwork. And I've watched what happens 2 or 3 slow seasons later when the same truck that felt like a reward starts feeling like a chain they can't get out of. Here's the thing nobody's saying directly about a fully loaded truck and commission income. For a W-2 guy on a fixed salary, it's just a payment. For you, it's a fixed obligation sitting on top of variable income. That distinction changes everything about how you should think about this decision. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what the loaded truck actually costs across a full year of feast and famine cycles. The one rule that tells you what you can actually afford without wrecking your financial foundation, and why getting this decision right now is one of the highest leverage moves you can make for your long-term financial career. Let's run the real math. Now, before we get into the sticker price, let's handle the most common justification I hear from guys who are about to make a truck decision they're going to regret. It's a write-off. Here's what that actually means when you do the math. If you're on 1099 income and a 22% federal tax bracket, a $1,000 truck payment saves you roughly $220 in taxes. You're still writing a check for $780 out of pocket every single month, whether you close 2 deals or 0, whether it's October or February, whether your pipeline is full or the phone's been quiet for 3 weeks. The write-off is real, it's just not the discount most people think it is, and it does absolutely nothing to solve the core problem with the loaded truck on commission income, which is that the payment doesn't flex when your income does. Work with your CPA on the actual deductibility for your specific situation. That number varies more than most guys realize. But whatever it comes out to, run the rest of this math first, because the write-off isn't going to save you in a slow month. Here's the number most guys never actually run before they sign. A fully loaded F-150 King Ranch or Ram 1500 Longhorn in the $70,000 to $75,000 range finances to roughly $1,050 to $1,150 a month on a 72-month note at current rates. That's before you add full coverage insurance on a financed truck, which puts you somewhere between $1,800 and $2,100 a month before you put a single gallon of gas in it. Now add fuel. A rep driving 20,000 miles a year in a V8 averaging 17 to 9 miles per gallon is spending another $250 to $350 a month at the pump. Factor in realistic maintenance reserve and you're looking at $2,050 to $2,450 a month in total cost of ownership. Across a 12-month commission cycle with 2 or 3 real slow months, that truck costs you somewhere between $24,600 and $29,400 a year in hard cash out the door. And depreciation is on top of all that. A $72,000 truck loses $12,000 to $15,000 in value in year 1 alone. You drove a new truck off the lot and a used one home the same day you signed. Now here's the question that actually matters, and it's the one most guys never ask before they're sitting in the finance office. What did your worst month look like last year? Not your best, not your average, your worst, because that number is what determines whether you can actually carry this. Most guys think about truck affordability during a good stretch. That's the problem right there. Think about what the slow season actually looks like in a storm corridor. October through March compresses hard for most guys in this business. 2 or 3 of those months can come in at $5,000 or less in commission. Now put a $2,200 monthly truck and insurance obligation against a $4,500 check. That's 48% of his take-home committed to one vehicle before rent, groceries, or a single credit card minimum payment, before anything else in his life. That math is what puts guys behind on taxes. It runs up the credit card balance they swore they were done with and starts the conversations at home that nobody wants to have. And here's what I want you to sit with about this. The guy who signed that truck in October wasn't making a reckless decision in the moment. He was having his best stretch of the year. The income felt real. The payment felt manageable. He was probably right about October, but he wasn't signing a contract for October. He was signing a 72-month agreement that runs straight through February, through the months where the pipeline goes quiet for 3 weeks and the commission check is still 2 weeks away. The truck doesn't know it's February. The payment shows up anyway. Now let me give you the honest breakdown what's actually out there, ranked by what they'll cost you across a full year. At the bottom of the pain scale is the Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road in the $42,000 to $46,000 range. Strong resale value, consistently ranked at the top for long-term reliability, all in a monthly cost around $1,100 to $1,300. The boring choice, also the choice that doesn't follow you into a slow February and you start costing you sleep. Next is the base Ford F-150 XL or XLT in the $38,000 to $50,000 range depending on how it's configured. Reliable, parts are everywhere, and the 2.7-liter EcoBoost gets 20 to 24 miles per gallon. Monthly cost lands around $1,200 to $1,500. A solid working truck that earns its keep without killing your slow month cushion. The Chevy Silverado 1500 LT in the $45,000 to $55,000 range sits in the middle. Decent reliability overall, but watch the engine choice. The 6.2 liter V8 option looks great on a spec sheet and kills your fuel economy fast. Monthly cost climbs quickly once that engine's in the equation. Then comes the Ram 1500 Bighorn or Laramie in the $52,000 to $62,000 range. Comfortable, well equipped, looks solid. Reps love how it drives. Reliability scores have historically trailed Toyota and Ford, which matters when you're putting real work miles on it year after year. And then the fully loaded tier. The King Ranch, the Ram Longhorn, the Silverado High Country at $68,000 to $78,000. This is the most expensive truck category you can put under commission income by a wide margin, not just in payment, in depreciation, total cost of ownership, and what it does to your financial cushion when income gets tight. The sales rep driving the Tacoma or the base F-150 isn't driving a lesser truck. He's driving a smarter financial decision. And in this business, smart financial decisions compound in ways that show up later. And it's the one that actually tells you what you can afford. The number that matters isn't the sticker price. It isn't the monthly payment. It isn't the write-off percentage your CPA quoted you. It's the total monthly cost of ownership as a percentage of your worst commission month in the last 12 months. Not your average month, not your best month, your worst. Here's the rule. If total truck costs, including payment, insurance, fuel, and a maintenance reserve, exceeds 20% of that number, it's more truck than your income structure can actually support right now. Let me show you what that actually looks like in practice. If your worst month last year was $4,000, 20% is $800. That points to a used Tacoma or base F-150 with a clean Carfax, not a King Ranch on a 72-month note. If your worst month was $8,000, 20% is $1,600. That opens up more options. A mid-tier truck financed responsibly starts to fit. If your worst month was $15,000, 20% is $3,000. Now the math on a loaded truck starts to make more sense. The reason you run it against the worst month instead of the average is straightforward. You're not buying a truck for October, you're buying a truck that has to survive February. The floor of your income is what determines what you can carry long term, not the ceiling. This is the allocation principle at work. Every dollar that comes in gets assigned to one of three categories. Living needs, which are the necessary expenses to keep your life running. Lifestyle wants, which is where the truck lives because let's be honest, a loaded King Ranch does more than get you from door to door. And future freedom, which is debt payoff, savings, and investing. The truck isn't a living need, it's a lifestyle want. And the amount you can responsibly put into lifestyle wants is determined by what's left after your floor income covers your living needs and your future freedom contributions are funded. When you size your lifestyle category to your ceiling income rather than your floor, you're building commitments that the slow months can't support. Those are very different numbers for most guys in this business. I've watched enough people navigate this decision to know what separates the ones who build real wealth from the ones who just stay stuck. It's not the guys closing the most deals. It's not always the guy earning the highest commissions. It's the guys whose financial commitments are sized to their floor income rather than their peak income. They drive trucks that are boring in the parking lot. The payment doesn't follow them into the slow season. The insurance isn't eating their cushion during a quiet February. And when a big month hits, that income goes somewhere it can compound instead of going towards a liability that's depreciating in the driveway. One more thing worth saying directly. The fully loaded truck isn't a bad purchase. It's just a bad first purchase. It's a reward. It's just not the first move. The guy who builds the cash flow system first, who runs the 20% rule before signing anything, who keeps his fixed obligations below his floor income, who funds his reserve during feast months, that guy earns the fully loaded truck. Not because he can make the payment, because the payment doesn't threaten anything he's built. That's a completely different relationship with the truck than signing for it during a good October and hoping the slow months don't catch up. Build the system, then buy the truck. In that order. Hey Roof Money Pros, if this is the kind of math that you want running in the background every time you make a financial decision, hit that subscribe button. I put out videos every week specifically for roofing pros just like you who are done letting the good months fund the bad ones. And if you want the full cash flow framework, the Feast or Famine Survival Guide is where it starts. It walks you through the first step of the Feast framework that makes the decisions like this one a lot cleaner before you're sitting in a finance office at the dealership. Links in the description. Thanks for watching, and in the meantime, keep stacking, keep building, and I'll see you in the next one.